What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Global Ghost Hunt closing ceremonies for this interesting, I'll say that, interesting spring event. With me tonight is the man, the Mr. himself, Mr. Brian John Laverty. What's up, brother?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. It's over. It's over.
You know what? It's funny because you and I, every time we do the closing ceremonies, we all agree it's a good feeling, but at the same time, it's like, thank God.
Yeah, exactly. I have to be honest. I loved all the investigations, but yeah, thank you, Jesus.
Yes. And before we really get into everything, just want to talk to everybody real quick. Last night we had a little bit of some issues with the Scare Enthusiast, however you say it.
Yeah.
We just want to let everybody know we did message them. AJ as well messaged them. We reached out. They're fine. They're okay. For those who didn't see what went on at the end of their video feed, all you heard somebody say was, "I don't feel well," and the video cut. It was equipment. It was all equipment failure, folks. So they are okay. We have reached out. It's 100%. So
yeah, everything apparently everything died
within, like, what did you say, 30 seconds?
Everything died at once. The phone died. Their equipment died. Everything. What the phone didn't die. The phone. Sorry, that's wrong. The phone froze, and they couldn't turn it off or whatever. And so they tried to get back, but they couldn't. Everything was gone. Ooh. So yeah. So
well, like I said, Brian and I even said afterwards, at least they're okay. At least we know they're okay. That was the important thing. But
what you can do is if you can go over their YouTube channel. They are going to put up I think they had a camera or something. I don't know, but they had some bonus footage or something like that. I don't know. As far as I know, everything died. Obviously they had a camera, still was able to film, but it's just weird how everything just went at once.
Yeah, I've seen in my experiences, I've seen a couple here and there go out, but not all at the same time. That is awkward.
Yeah, that was weird.
But we'll talk a little bit more about them here in a little bit. But before we really get into the teams and what we've seen in the second half of the Global Ghost Hunt, I just personally want to say thank you to each and every team that has investigated for this event, and even the ones that investigated last year. You guys are awesome. We love you guys. You guys have our respects, and honestly, without you and also the audience, with all your support, none of this would be possible. We wouldn't have the success that we're having, with meeting new teams, the locations, and everything that's been going on. So you guys deserve a huge round of applause and the utmost respect from all of us here at the Global Ghost Hunt. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
I
couldn't say it. I can't say it any better than that. To be
unscripted either. I didn't script it. I didn't practice it.
No, there you go.
It
was good. It was good. All the teams did a wonderful job. Obviously, we had a few glitches here and there, but nothing major like past events. Everybody's investigation seemed to go really, really well. Some people caught a lot of things, some people a few things, but overall, it was a great investigation by everyone. And that is what paranormal investigations is about. You're going to catch some stuff. You might not catch anything. Obviously, we had a few teams that caught a lot of things. For example, Rootless the other night, they seem to catch a lot. And if you haven't seen that video, please go over to the Global Ghost Hunt Facebook page and take a look.
Absolutely.
Their investigation was great. We had a lot of great investigations for sure.
Absolutely. And we'll talk more again on Rootless. Let's start off with just after the halftime show. JK47, Jonathan. The only critique I have is something that we've all talked about, I think, and it's become sort of a trend. So I want to say this again, just for folks. No, portrait, landscape, good.
In defense for Jonathan, I will say he was this was a investigation he did a little while back, so it was obviously pre-recorded, but he was also live. Now, when he was doing this investigation, he was live on YouTube.
Yeah,
I guess through StreamYard or whatever. I don't know. But so that's why he had the phone like that, because apparently, and I don't know why he thought this, but he thought he could only go portrait, which is not the case. You can go landscape if you're going through YouTube, especially if you're going through StreamYard, because I don't think he can go live. I don't think he has enough people to go live. I don't know. I haven't checked out his channel, but that's the reason why he was in portrait most of the time. So
yeah, and like I said, that's my only critique from that one. And just a little side note, I just realized this today actually, before my podcast. In the settings section down below in StreamYard, you can actually set it to portrait or landscape for your orientation.
There you go.
So that might help people out maybe in the October event, or even if you're doing a stream. But yeah, so I think that was really cool. So after them, yeah, it was us. It was us, the Wicked Queen and myself. I'll be honest. I thought there'd be more. I actually was expecting a little more from that territory. The Hessfield Robbins Trail, it's a beautiful location. It's got a lot of energy, but if you'll excuse the pun, it was dead that night. Like there was really it felt like I forget who said it. I think maybe even Gold Gang said it, or even GSI. It was like a walk in the woods. It was just like everything was just stale. It was just nothing was there. Like I didn't get any feelings. The Wicked Queen wasn't feeling anything. It was just It's like, okay, but she had a lot of fun. I know that.
Well, I will say, well, one thing I did tell you after your investigation. What did I say to you? Do you remember?
I know a couple of things. The one, it was I'll dumb it down. I'll put it in layman's terms. You said I took a page out of Raymond's investigation.
No, well, that, yeah. But I wasn't even thinking of that, actually. I think the patience level from you guys wasn't there.
Yeah, and even I even admitted that, folks. I would have loved, and we probably will. It's really close to the house here. We'll probably go out and investigate, check it out again. But I don't know, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. The Wicked Queen worked all day. It was Danny's first time, which huge props to her. First time ever investigating, held the camera, did really well. I was really proud of that. But yeah, it was just an night.
Yeah.
Really, but
yeah. And which, unfortunately, again, going back to what I said a few minutes ago, that sometimes it can be a real busy night. Sometimes it can be a real slow night. It just depends on what the spirits want to do.
Yeah, and like I said, it was a virgin location, but we did catch a couple of things before that made me want to go there. And even the Wicked Queen even said, it'd be great to go back, but I don't know, it just wasn't the night, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine.
That's okay.
We had a great time. Danny learned a lot. Hopefully you guys learned a lot from our investigation, and I had a pocket full of rocks by the end of the night, thanks to the Wicked Queen. So
there you go.
It works out for everybody.
Yeah. Win-win.
Yeah, well, for some of us.
Yeah, there you go.
But moving on, GSI. There's a new team, a newer team to the Global Ghost Hunt, and the Witches Woods in the UK. I knew from the name of it was going to be a lot of fun, and honestly, they didn't disappoint. They did not disappoint at all.
Yeah, their investigation was good. They didn't capture a lot, but again, like I always say, like I said a few seconds ago, sometimes it could be a real good night. Sometimes it could be an unfortunate night. But what I like the most is seeing John and his team, or part of his team, out there doing the investigation for the Global Ghost Hunt. And it was their first time, and hopefully we'll see them back in October.
I hope so too.
I think I'm assuming they will probably do a location that's probably inside rather than outside. But I think location, when you're doing locations outside, it's difficult. It really, really is difficult to do an investigation outside. So
100%.
And because you got a lot of outside noise,
Birds.
birds, yeah. Friggin' bird. That friggin' bird during my investigation, it was like it didn't matter where we were on that property, you could still hear that bird.
You had the birds, we had the frogs. I mean, those frogs were just loud. I don't know how well it relayed over into the video, but it was like we couldn't even hear ourselves think.
Yeah. But which is woods. It was cool. I like watching teams from the UK. Like a lot of other people do, and they were good. They're a good team, and they got they've done a lot of good videos. I know you can go over their YouTube channel. They have a bunch on their YouTube channel. They're part of Baraflix, like I am, and they've had some really, really interesting investigations. I probably would say that wasn't one of their best investigations, obviously, but they've had some real good investigations and worth taking a look at some of their videos. And John and Ralph and those guys are great guys, and I'm really happy that they were a part of it. So
100%. And what I really like, and by the way, I see all your comments, Raymond.
Pocket Rocks only fans. Yeah.
But what I really like about the Global Ghost Hunt, not just, creating a bigger bucket list for all of us and bringing us together, it's we learn different techniques. And the one thing that I noticed with GSI was this human pendulum. And you and I even spoke about it after the investigation.
What's wrong?
Is there a delay?
No.
Can you hear me? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I was waiting for you to respond.
Oh, okay.
See, folks, it's not scripted. It's not scripted at all.
Well, I thought you were still talking. It was interesting. Yeah. It was again, it's like one of those things where every team does a different thing or do something different. And for example, tonight, and I mentioned it on the investigation tonight that with Phantom Detectives, out of the 3 events we've had, we've never ever had anybody reading tarot cards. And I thought that was it was different. It was cool. And Melissa seemed to getting something from there regarding not only with her mediumship, but her tarot cards. And it seemed pretty bang on from the cards she pulled. So it was different. It was interesting. And again, it's one of those things where, there are so many different reasons why I started the Global Ghost Hunt. And I think, and we've always said this, when you're watching a team that they're doing an experiment that you haven't seen, and then you go out and do it, I think it's great when I see that, because we're all learning from each other. And I think this is the type of industry where you don't stop learning. You continually learning new things. And I've learned a lot of new things from some of these teams over the past 10 days. And there's a couple of things I might try in my investigations. And why do you think I'm going to laugh, Raymond?
No,
I made a comment. I made a comment on Raymond's video yesterday that something about something. First of all, something about his attire and what he was wearing, and we got a little bit of nipple action there. And then I made a comment about him joining OnlyFans. And so no, but yeah. So anyways, getting back to what I was saying, and that's one of the reasons why the Global Ghost Hunt is so fun to watch, is because you get to see a lot of these teams doing different things. Like I mentioned it on the halftime show with Abyss, that was doing the experiment that other teams that have done in the past. and like Portal to the Paranormal and Ghoul Gang and stuff like that, doing the ball and the glass over top of the ball. You know, I love seeing that. I love people doing these experiments that other teams have been doing. Now, I know, as we all know, not to bring anything negative into this, sometimes when teams do that and another team sees another team doing what they're doing, they get upset. But let's be honest, it's true. I've seen teams get upset with other teams because they were doing something they did on their video. And it's like, okay, come on, give me a break. This is, you know, but I enjoy it. I enjoy watching and other teams doing experiments when watching the Global Ghost Hunt. So
no, absolutely. And you know what, you absolutely said it. We're all learning in this field. Like, I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm still learning. You know, I'm learning new ways to investigate from literally everybody. And, you know, the one thing I'm really glad to see is people like Abyss and others who are picking up these new techniques and trying them out. Everyone is supporting them on it. It's not, we haven't had like teams say, hey, we did this, you know, on the lives or anything else. It's all been supportive, and that's great. That is I mean, that's one reason why I love doing this and being a part of the Global Ghost Hunt, because we can all learn, come together, and have a great time.
Yeah, and one thing I would suggest, if you're going to do that and nothing happens, don't give up on it. Continue doing it. Continue doing the experiment, because it might not have worked that night, but it might work another night. So
or a different location.
On a different location. Yeah, that's what I mean. So don't give up on those experiments. Just because you didn't get a hit doesn't mean you won't down the road.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So moving on, I was really looking forward to this one as well. And that's CITV. Caught in the Veil. Cara and Brandon at Broadhead Manor. Broadhead Manor, I mean, we've heard it. Everybody's heard about Broadhead Manor for one reason or another. I'll be honest, I know, and even Cara said they really didn't get too much, but I feel like there was more that maybe they could have, maybe they could go back for another one. They can go back for another investigation and get more.
Well, yeah,
it was great.
And again, going back to what I said, you know, it could have been just one of those nights. Another team could go in the next night. It could be completely different.
Oh,
but, you know, one of the things Karis did tell me that they didn't capture a lot. But when watching the video and they had the SB7 going off quite a bit, they were catching stuff. And, you know, I know Kara was in the room watching, and I said, well, I believe it was their investigation. There was even a couple of voices I heard over the microphone that they didn't even realize. So again, just because you don't see it or hear it right at that moment doesn't mean you didn't catch something. You just go back on the video and watch it, because there were things coming through the SB7, because when they were in the, I guess, downstairs in the main room, the very first question that Brandon asked, there was a response. And I think he said something along the lines of, who set that off, or who said something. And right away it was the name Debbie. That I don't even think they realized. But again, you know, so just because you don't catch something, you know, doesn't mean you didn't catch anything when you watch the video. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, I get you. I get you. And you know what, folks, that's something else, because I know there's some teams that were watching in and listening in who are newer to this field. And as much as every investigator will tell you, evidence review sucks. It is very tedious. It is very boring, but it is very important. It is extremely important to do. I mean, even the investigation that the Wicked Queen and I had, I will be going over the video footage and the audio footage, because we had recorders going at all time. I will be re-listening to the Global Ghost Hunt thing, because you never know when something may come up, and it's very important to do your due diligence through any investigation, because for that reason.
Yeah, I agree.
So moving on, and this one, I know you and I both were excited about this one.
Yeah.
Along with the admin team, and that was the Ladies of Rootless Destinations. Well, the folks at Rootless Destinations, I should say. My apologies. But they were, I don't even, they blew us out of the water again. They blew it out of the water.
Yeah.
The attire, which by the way, and I believe that's Melissa in the room right now. I even told Brian during the investigation, those jumpsuits looked comfortable.
Yeah. But what did I tell you? What did I tell you a few days before?
Which part?
Do you remember?
When
we were talking about Rootless's investigation, I said, I wonder if they're going to be wearing wearing prison uniforms.
You know, I do remember that. I do remember that now. You know, and I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if we were going to get like police officers, if we were going to get the classic striped suits, but the orange jumpsuits, I mean, they look great.
And by the way, I know what those numbers meant.
I do not.
Does anybody else? How can you not know what those numbers meant? Go back on the video and rethink.
I'll have to read.
Yeah, I know what those numbers mean. So
it's me.
Anybody else? They had numbers on their outfits. They also had on the back GGH.
I saw that,
which was great.
That was awesome.
So go back, watch their video, look at those numbers, and put a comment in there and say what you think it means. Okay. I know what it means. It didn't take a lot for me to figure it out.
I will have to look at that, but I'll tell you what. You know, just like what I really love about their location was the gentleman that was with them, their tour guide, whatever he was.
Yeah, he looked like a very large man.
He did, but he was very knowledgeable, very friendly. Yeah. It reminded me of the tour guide we had at the USS North Carolina. Very, very nice, very knowledgeable, very open, and it seemed like he was very open to what they were doing. Yeah. And, you know, I think sometimes we forget when we go to these locations, it's a beautiful location, but Jeremy, that's it. It was the owner. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, we forget that, you know, these owners, these people, whoever allow us to come in, and, you know, that's huge. That's huge. And they deserve our, you know, the support, and huge shout out to Jeremy and really all these locations that allowed Global Ghost Hunt to come in.
Bear at Octagon Hall. He's a great tour guide too. His name's Bear. Yeah, he's a very tall man.
Okay. If he was a short guy, then I'd be like, okay.
No, he's a very tall man. Very tall. I think he stood like 6'5" or something like that.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Was he built too like a bear?
No. He's I think he's got to be in his late. Sorry, if he's going to see this video down the road, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this, but he's got to be late 60s, early 70s.
Mm. Okay.
Would that be right, Raymond? I think he's around there. But he's got some, I think it's either hip issues or leg issues, because I believe he walks with a cane too. So,
okay.
But he's a really, really great, super nice guy and an excellent tour guide. So there you go. That's what, So, but getting off that, but Rootless's investigation in itself, let's talk about that. If people haven't seen it yet, you got to go over and watch it, because I'm not surprised, because I did do a little bit of research on this place, just a little, to find out a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And apparently a lot of teams that go in there get that much activity.
You know, it's not very often that and nothing against any of the other teams that we've seen here in Global Ghost Hunt or anywhere, but there's very few investigations that get me on the edge of my seat and literally like right here on the camera. And Rootless did it. That location had me on, and I don't know what it was. Like I was telling Brian, we were backstage, which by the way, Brian and I were mainly backstage in almost every investigation together, and there was so much going on, so many shadows.
Yeah, and there was one point where they're walking down the hallway, and I mentioned in the comments that I heard a woman's voice. Mm-hmm. I forget what it said, but and I told them, and they happened to be in that when I wrote it. By the time they saw it, they'd already walked past the area, and they were in that one area. and Chris wrote what I said. But yeah, it was definitely a woman, and you could hear it clearly on the microphone camera.
Yeah.
And it was great. And those are really, really, I'm not going to say rare, but when you're going through a live investigation, when it's live and you're catching those, that's incredible. That's
Absolutely.
incredible when you're hearing that EVP come through the microphone during a live. And
Absolutely.
yeah, it was amazing.
Well, see, and that's one thing I love about these live investigations. You know, what is these cameras? What are these cameras? Even a phone, they're electronic microphones, exactly what a digital recorder is. So when we're investigating and we have an audience during the live, you're live listening to a digital recording. So we may be able to, the audience may be able to hear something that the team doesn't. And that's one thing I absolutely love.
I think that is the first time on all of our investigations that we've had over the last 3 that I've actually heard an EVP come over the microphone camera.
That's the first time I remember you mentioning.
I don't think we've had that yet.
I know we've had shadows, we've had black masses, we've had mist or fog, orbs, or
camera shutting down,
turning sideways.
Yeah. So, but I don't think we've had something where I've actually, because obviously during the investigations, I listen very intently just in case something is said, then I'll write it in the comments.
Yeah.
But I think that was the first time we actually, that is the first time that actually I heard something speak. Yeah. And you know what? I should have timestamped it, because then they could have gone back and listen to it. But if you watching the videos, Chris will make a comment that I heard something, I heard that voice, and you guys said, "Oh, really?" And so when that happens, go back a few seconds and listen to it, because you can hear it clearly.
Yeah. And that's, again, one thing I really love. I really love about what we're doing. And, it's just that support and the extra eyes and the extra everything, ears during these investigations. The teams are showing these amazing locations, they're investigating, they're showing their skills, but the audience, all of us, we have their back. We're supporting them in more ways than just sharing out. And that, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. One tip I want to say this before we, because I told John and Mike the same thing on our investigation after. One thing that I think paranormal investigators should be aware of, and I'm sure most of them are, it's not something they probably haven't heard before, but when you're on a live or when you're recording, make sure your team members are not whispering to each other.
yeah
Because that could be so like I told Mike and John, I think it was after I told them, or when I was there in November, I can't remember when I told them, but I did tell them, I said, try to avoid whispering to each other, because for obvious reasons. So so in future investigations, if you have people behind the camera or people standing beside the camera, tell them to talk normally, like they normally would. Don't whisper. And it's just, you know what? I think it's just really a reaction. It's just a common reaction you would do, because you're filming and you don't want to sound really loud, and you don't want to interrupt. But that is a thing that I noticed during a lot of investigations. And hey, listen, I'm at fault for it as well. But when you have quite a few people around, tell them not to whisper. So
or snore, as the best said. You don't snore.
See, it's like Chris said, not the helper. It's a natural reaction. Yeah, but these are things to be aware of.
Yeah, and that was one of the first things I told Danny, or Jinx, because that was her first time investigating. I said, there's a couple things you don't do. First, don't run. Don't run. No matter what happens, do not run. That's a safety issue. Do not run. The other thing is, don't whisper. If you want to say something, talk in a normal voice. Make sure it's loud enough to where I can hear you, the camera can hear you, and it's clear what's going on. Don't whisper.
Because it's happened to me. It's happened to me in the past in investigations where I've been with people and they whisper, and then I'm listening. Okay, what was that? and you're trying to figure out what's being said, and then you realize, oh crap, that was so and so that was talking. So
I've done it. I've
everybody has.
I've done it at Penhurst. I've done it at Penhurst, and sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it. Like I'll be making mental notes of something, and I'll speak out loud, but I'll be whispering to myself, and I don't even realize I'm doing it. And then when I'm reviewing it, I'm like, what is that?
Everybody does it, but the good tip is to just remember that, you can talk in your normal voice. Don't worry about interrupting people and stuff like that, because they would rather have that than trying to figure out if that was a member of the team or if that was an actual EVP.
Yep.
So,
which is another good reason too, folks. And this is for anybody, when you start an EVP session, introduce yourselves, but don't just say like if it's Brian and I, it's not, hey, my name is Matt. I am paranormal consultant. This is Brian. He's homophobia, blah, 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 blah. And just leave it at that. Let the other investigators say their names and just point to them. Like I would say, I'm Matt, paranormal consultant. This is, and I'd point to Brian. Brian would introduce himself. It's more personal for the spirits, but it's also doing making a little note for the EVPs, for the recorders. So that way we can know what everybody's voices sound like.
Yeah. See, that's one of the rules with Abyss. No whispering.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? It's one of those simple, not one of those things you wouldn't think about. During your investigation. Hey, listen, at the end of the day, we're all of us here in the room, anyone, we're always learning when we're out on investigations. We're always learning something different. We're always looking at how we can improve our investigations. We're always doing it, and you'll never stop doing it. So it's not like I'm not saying that to say, okay, don't do this, like stop it, it's a sin or something like that. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's just a simple, easy tip to avoid going through footage for like 50 times trying to figure out something.
And no slide on. Rootless, I agree, but it depends. It depends where I'm going. But moving on.
Yeah.
The next team.
Well, we haven't finished with Rootless yet. We just got onto Rootless. We didn't really talk about their investigation.
Oh no, we didn't we?
No, we didn't. Sorry, Rootless.
I'm sorry, Mo. I love you guys. Love you guys.
We did talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's get into it more, because
now, why did my camera's? I don't know what my camera's doing tonight.
It's worth talking about. So
absolutely. The one thing that I really love is when one of my favorite things with Rootless is they're not afraid to debunk right then and there.
Yeah.
They hear something, they see something, and the first thing they do is debunk. They don't go after it, they debunk it. And then they go after it. Which, a lot of teams, even myself, I do the opposite. I will run after these things, which I've done in the past. We've seen that. But I really like the fact that they try to keep themselves level and grounded.
Let's mention this then, if you're going to say that.
Okay.
One thing I really enjoyed about the investigation, it was very, very active for them. But what I also liked, you can see it in their eyes on how excited they were on getting those reactions. And it was almost like a kid in a candy store, and that's what I really enjoyed. And it was almost like they were investigating for the very first time, and they were getting touched a lot, which be honest, nobody likes, but it's part of it. But they seem to be drawn to Heidi quite a bit, touching her quite a bit. I think it's really important. If you didn't watch the video, go over and watch it. And
100%.
It's a great investigation. They captured a lot of evidence. Even the Estes method that they were doing, a lot was coming through, which was, obviously, I think obviously for them, it was very important, because I think for that particular place, it really brought them out more, because for me personally, it almost felt like the spirits were able to talk to, like, let's say Melissa at that moment during the Estes method. And it's like they wanted to say something. They wanted to talk to her. They wanted to get something out. And Melissa and Heidi gave that to them, gave them that voice, and which I thought was really, really cool. But again, I'm going to go back to this. It was almost, they were very, very excited. And I think in some moments, they were very, very surprised on what they were getting and what was coming through. Because let's be honest, you can go into a location and be told all kinds of stories about that location and what you're going to see or what other people have seen. But until you get there and do it yourself, it's pretty incredible, because who knows, like, for them personally, in that location, they might have had the best evidence that anybody had since people started going in there. Who knows? But they captured a lot. And of course, that place became a bucket list place, because obviously that place is very, very active. And for me personally, I really, truly believe this. They really want to speak to people.
Oh, yeah. There's something that they want to relay. There's something, and they're not subtle about it. And I'm glad you said they had that kid in the candy store attitude whenever they would get stuff on either the Estes or whatever, because it's just like with you and Lex at the mausoleum. One thing I love about what we're doing is this is real paranormal investigating. This isn't TV. This isn't anything. And when you get evidence, you see the excitement.
Yeah.
You get, I mean, I know you're an actor, but there's no acting. That is probably one of the hardest things to act. It's the split second emotion and that reaction of true pleasure, happiness, excitement. There's no faking that. I mean, the way they were reacting to everything, from what was being said in the audience, what was being said over the spirit box, whatever, that was pure. And that's one thing I love about not just Rootless, but all these teams. If they get something, you can see it. You can see that excitement.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. It was a great investigation. And I got a strange feeling. A lot of people are going to see that video, and that place is going to start getting a lot of bookings.
Well, somebody right here is going to start messaging.
I got a strange feeling that place is going to get a lot of bookings now, because there was a lot of activity going on in that place, and hopefully they do. Hopefully they do get a lot. I'm sure they get a lot now, but hopefully it's double now. Hopefully they're booked for the next 2 years, and this is why we do Global Ghost Hunt, for these locations to get booked and for people to see them. And I just can't say enough about that location. Now, let's be honest, another team can go in there the next night and not capture anything.
Yeah.
So,
which I want to put a disclaimer. It's not just for Rootless's location, but all these locations, folks. If you go to these locations, just remember to be respectful. Don't go in there, rip roaring and tearing the place apart and being disrespectful to these spirits. And they're not there to entertain you. The spirits are not there. They're not a circus act. They're not there to be your entertainment. They have feelings and thoughts too, and treat them as such. And same thing with the location. It is not a playground. This is somebody's property, whether it's a client home or a location like this. You have to be respectful. So I just want to put that out there.
And for there's a couple of comments in here about Abyss saying that she believes that there's a male spirit there intimidating other spirits and hushing them. I believe that is true. I do believe that is true, and that's what I'm saying. But these spirits have a lot to say. It's almost like they want people to come in so they can just talk to them.
Well, I mean, I've seen that. I've seen locations like the Whaley House in San Diego. Thomas Whaley is a great spirit to speak with. He's a lot of fun. But I've also seen, like, they're talking about a spirit or group of spirits, pushing other ones back, holding them back, hushing them. Yeah, I've seen that happen before. And it's sad. It really is sad. But the only way to figure out what is going on is to do exactly what we're doing. Investigate, get more evidence, get some validation, and try to help as much as we can.
Yeah.
And
Rootless happened to say that he's the sheriff was not a good man in life, nasty man, and let's be honest, he probably had to be because of his position. And when he was out of that uniform, he could have probably been a nice man. Who knows? But he's in there to make sure that the place is run smoothly, and the spirits, or what he thinks, he might not even know that he's dead. He might just be thinking he's still working, and still being an ass to these prisoners. Because let's be honest, there's not. I don't think these people are treated very nicely with, the guards and the warden, and I don't think they're treated very nicely in most jails. So maybe, who knows? Maybe he still thinks he's working, and that's why he's telling him to shut up.
It's not a vacation. I'll just say that.
No,
and even what Pam said, spirits usually pick who they want to communicate with. And there's so many different things. There's so many different variables, but that's one thing I love about our field is everybody's right. Everything is a theory. This isn't an exact science, folks. Places and stuff like this, what we're doing, I think I've said it on my show, and I think, Brian, you've said it a couple of times. The paranormal field is nothing but a big jigsaw puzzle, and it's going to take each and every one of us to work together to put that puzzle together. Will it happen in our lifetime? Who knows?
Yeah, but that's true. What's Raymond's saying, it could have been the time for lights out.
Yeah.
And who knows? But because they were on at 10:30, and it would have been 9:30 their time, so it probably would have been close to lights out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to take a moment to see to read off what V Team said. When their deceased stepson lit up all the lights on the EMF, I'll just shorten it. They did it for a spirit session for his father. It was so touching, especially for his father. That's something else too. When we get these responses, and we get invested in these spirits, especially if we go there multiple times. You create a bond, you create a friendship with some of these spirits, and some of them are really great. And the stories they have aren't something that you can that aren't written down. Like Gettysburg, for example. I always use this. Everybody knows Gettysburg. They know how bloody it was. They know how terrible it was. But not every moment and every person has had their story told. And we are active historians, in my opinion. We are going out, talking to these spirits, learning their history, learning their stories, and trying to help them in any way, shape, or form. And when stuff like this happens, that's a win for me. I don't. That could be the only thing I do all night long. And as long as I'm helping a spirit or helping somebody get a message across, I'm happy. That's just me.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, but either way, Rootless, again, to sum everything up, they did not disappoint. And just like with all of these teams, go check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, go check that one out. It's the time went by very, very quickly. And and I said in the chat, go a little bit longer because there was a lot going on, and we had nothing after. Yep. So they went another 15-20 minutes, and they were still catching stuff even during that 15-20 minutes. So it was good. It was a good investigation, and people need to go over and watch that one.
100%, for sure. 100%. So moving on. The next one we have Ghoul Gang.
Yeah.
Now, Ghoul Gang has been with us. I think is this their third or second event? I think it's the second.
Second. Yeah.
Second. And they had some issues, which we have in our field. We have a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Usually with the podcast and shows, it's some kind of technical problems, and it's not always my fault. Abyss, thank you. But I'll tell you what. I love these ladies. I absolutely love Ghoul Gang. They even though they didn't get to the location they wanted to, they had fun.
Yeah.
They had a great time. They had a great investigation, in my opinion.
And I figured out after, because we talked after their investigation, because obviously they were live. I think we discovered why they had the pixelation, because they had no buffering. They had nothing like that. There was no delays, nothing. I think what the issue was, and this is something I learned, the issue was, I think, in their settings, they had it too high, the resolution. If they would have brought it down, to 420, it might have not had any pixelation.
You know, that never crossed my mind.
They had it on 1080p, which we would normally do, but because of the circumstances, being outside and all those things, they needed to bring it down to maybe 720 or 420. And because they were having no buffering, there was nothing like that. No. So why was the pixelation there? Well, because the resolution was maybe too high. So that's something that we learned.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you know, I know we all want. Let me just put a little advice for everybody watching, and if you do decide to sign up for the October event, little help for you. Yes, quality is good. We want good quality, but at the same time, if we can't hear you, understand you, service, whatever, or again, if it's too high of resolution, that's fine. Me personally, I'll be happy to sacrifice a little bit of pixelation to still have fun and have a good event. That's just me.
That's true.
That's just me. Like even with some of the things that I do on my shows and stuff, sometimes 1080 is just, I can't do it. If I'm running a program or if I'm doing a gaming or something, I'll drop it down, and we're not here for, let's be honest, we're not here for movie quality, investigations. We are here to learn the stories. We're here to have fun and celebrate these teams and these locations. But I'll tell you, one thing I love about Ghoul Gang is, even though they had a great investigation, let's be honest, but their whole mentality, that's one thing I love about these guys is, first location, bust. Second location, which I would have loved to see, and that was the mausoleum again. That was a bust. So they go to a third location, and they still had a smile on their face. Even when they came up, they were laughing and having a great time.
Yeah, the reason they were having problems was because they didn't realize this past weekend was banker holiday, as they called it. So there were a lot of fireworks going off every location that they were going to, and a lot of people and having parties and stuff like that. So obviously that would have compromised the video and or their live. So they went to several different spots until they found one that was really quiet. They didn't get they didn't get a lot of activity like they did in October. They still got some. They still got some activity. They got some, names and their Estes method, and the cat balls was going off. So they still captured. But I find with Ghoul Gang, I don't know what it is with Rosie and Emma, but I don't think it matters what location they go to. They will always capture something.
Yes. And, I want to hit on that. That is a part of, to me, one of the most important part of an investigation when you're going out. I mean, the equipment and everything, but your attitude. Yeah. Your attitude will dictate what kind of investigation you're going to have. Like, I go back to Pennhurst. I went in thinking Pennhurst was going to be a big, bad, scary place. So I went in with that big, bad mentality, like, let's go. I don't like him, but, I was like ready for anything. I was ready to get scratched and pushed. Hearing the stories, my whole mentality changed. And it was more of a understanding and receptive. Yeah. And, no matter what day you have in your personal life, when you go out and investigate, have fun. Have fun with it. Yeah. Enjoy it. Put some emotion, some passion into what you're doing, because that's what this is supposed to be, a passion.
Yeah, and not to toot my own horn or anything like that, but every single location I've gone to in my many years, I've always captured something. Yeah. And it's because I think I'm going in with the right attitude. Now, with me personally, I really don't like to know a lot before I go into a location. I like to figure that out as I'm going along. Yeah. But, you know, and there's some locations that I've been to, I've just heard certain things about it that we can't avoid.
Yeah.
But no, Ghoul Gang is definitely a group that goes in with a positive attitude, whether they get something or not. And I think that has to do with the joys of investigating, and them and their personalities as well, because they got great personalities. So I think if people haven't figured this out yet as paranormal investigators, and what I'm going to say is, like, I've seen some investigation teams that are just not, how do I put this nicely? Okay, well, let me say this. I think if you have not learned this by now as a paranormal investigator, not going in with the right attitude, being positive, being respectful, not being disrespectful, if you have not learned that yet, after watching so many videos, especially Global Ghost Hunt, you're never going to ever learn it. And like, I'm always going in very, very respectful, very, very positive attitude, very, again, and I'll say this again, very respectful, because I think that's important. If you go in there with that type of attitude, I guarantee it, you will capture, whether it's one thing or many things. You will. And because the majority of them want to talk to you. They want to talk to you. But if you're going in there with a, sorry to say this, but if you're going in there with a pissy attitude and going, ghosts don't exist and stuff like that, guess what? You're probably not going to catch anything. So, you know, but
and we've said this before. Well, I think it was even on Through Their Lens. We've seen that, we've spoken about this. How many times do these places get, you know, investigators coming in, especially the more well-known ones, and they get the same questions over and over and over? If I'm a spirit and somebody comes up to me asking me the generic questions, I'm not going to answer them. I'm going to say, no, screw you. I'll go do whatever else I want to do as a spirit. You know, I want to, when you go, you want to be yourself. You want to be, you want to be respectful. You want to be personable, like Rootless said. You want to be different. You don't want to be the same. You don't want to be a robot. You know, they can tell when you're doing an EVP session. You don't say, what's your name? How many people are here? No, say, hey, what's your name? My name's Matt, blah, blah, blah. You know, how are you tonight? You know, is it cold where you're at? You know, what color shirt you wearing? What size shoes do you wear? You know, whatever. You know, have some fun with them. And you will draw so many positive spirits into your area. And even through something negative, your positivity will get them upset enough to get some evidence. You know, it's not about going through the motions. If you don't have a passion for it, don't do it. You know, and it's all about respect and having fun. And I know a lot of teams are newer to the Global Ghost Hunt, and maybe it's sometimes the first time they've ever streamed an investigation. But even from the audience perspective, have fun. Have fun. Be yourself. That's more entertaining. That is 100% more entertaining. Like Rootless, Abyss, Ghoul Gang, everybody that's been a part of this Global Ghost Hunt, have fun with it.
Yeah.
Relax. It's I mean, it's a little intimidating, yes, but have fun. Have a lot of fun. Yep. But yeah, no, Ghoul Gang, absolutely amazing. I hope to see them in October as well.
Oh, we will. I already know the place they're doing. Oh, you guys are, if they get this place, you guys are in you're in for a real treat. And
I'm gonna be on my seat, edge
of my seat. I'll tell you after the show. But okay. Or maybe I won't. But hey. I already know the place. Like, they're waiting to hear back from this place. And this will probably be one of the best places that we've ever had for Global Ghost Hunt. And it is going to be a doozy. And I hope they get it. And you guys are going to be glued to your seats when you watch there live because it's going to be incredible. It's going to be like I can't. I wish I could tell you, but I can't. And I hope they get it. And you guys are going to be amazed when you find out what it is.
Well, that's the whole thing. Don't forget, down like it says down below, like, follow, and share, because stuff like this tease, you'll be able to find out, because obviously we got to announce it at some point.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna. I can't. There's not even enough words for me to say how amazing it's going to be.
I got a word for you. Tease. So speaking of teasing, moving on. This next one, we spoke about him earlier, and that's our brother Raymond. Raymond Newsom from Newsom Paranormal. So
Raymond.
So Brian and I, again, we talk before and after the investigations, and even during. I'm glad Raymond found the light. No whispering, remember, Bill?
And no, he wants me to say the place. He wants me to whisper. Yeah, I get you. I get
you. But I'm glad Raymond got the light. I mean, even though it was during the day, but I'm still going to give him shit for it. Audio.
Yeah, but you know what? He did figure out what the audio problem was. So
I'm still going to give him credit for it. All right, give him crap. So if anybody wants to get donate anything to Newsom Paranormal, flashlights and external microphones. Love you, Raymond. And a shirt with sleeves.
And a speaker for his SB7.
Yes. You know what? I love. We pick on Raymond. We do, but that's because we love him. We really do. But I'm really glad he didn't go out with a lot of equipment. We see a lot of these teams go out with a huge amount of equipment, which is fine, absolutely fine. But sometimes the bare basics do the best job to me. And I really like what Raymond did. He kept it simple. He had fun with it. And I don't know if he's still in the audience or not, but
no, I think he had to leave. He had to leave.
Okay, I know he was doing some kind of charity event tonight.
Yeah.
But Raymond, if you listen to this back, I want to know where your buddy got that shirt from. Permanently tired. I need that.
Yeah, that almost looks. I think that shirt is from Supreme.
Is it?
I think so.
I'm gonna have to find it.
Yeah, I think that shirt's because it's the Supreme. It looked like the Supreme logo.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I know about Supreme is because my son is a huge Supreme fan. So, but no, you know what? First of all, I want to thank Raymond.
Oh, that's his son.
We're going. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. Was that a Supreme shirt, Raymond? So Raymond is still in the room. Was that a part of Supreme? I believe it was because it was the same logo.
I was gonna say it looked like it too.
So you'll have to ask your son if it is. But I want to thank Raymond for going out because unfortunately Jen from Eclipse Paranormal had to cancel. So he went out and did the graveyard, and a great place. And again, he caught some hits. He got some stuff by the sounds of it. Mm-hmm. But again, I'm one of those people. I'm not a huge fan of graveyards, and we had a lot of them in the Global Ghost Hunt this year.
Yes, we did.
They're always nice to watch, you know. And Raymond did a great job, and his son did a great job, and I want to thank them both for going out and filling in for that spot we lost.
100%. And you know what? I know we pick on Raymond, but again, we love him. But Raymond's one of those individuals who, if you need something like a spot filled, he'll right there. If you need something, he's always right there to help out, and a hell of an asset on the admin team. And honestly, I call him my brother. I call a lot of people brother, but he's like family. And
well, there you go.
Oh wow,
cemetery. But I will say two good things. Mm-hmm. Actually, sorry, one good thing. I'm glad he decided not to dance, and because that actually would have been funny. I'm
kind of disappointed, to be honest.
Oh, were you? Okay. Thank you.
I was kind of hoping for a chicken dance.
Thank you. That it kind of that would have been funny.
But I will say, it's with now that I know it's his son, that shows good parenting. But even the paranormal is we become family in what we do in our community.
Thanks, Chris.
But doing this as a family, like with Raymond and his son, that just shows it's a family event. It doesn't have that stigma that everybody has with us, and it's good. It's really good, and I appreciate Raymond going out too. And Raymond, I'm saving my dance.
Fantastic, okay. Raymond. Fantastic.
We have it. I want someone to screenshot that, please.
I'm only kidding. I wish you would have danced. That would have been funny.
Yeah, Spirit Mechanics and them did an amazing job dancing.
Yeah. But it still wasn't the bird dance.
It wasn't. You know what? I'm just thinking, just in tangent, which if anybody knows me, it happens. Why not do? Somebody should have done the YMCA at the YMCA. Why did nobody?
I don't think AZ Pie would have done that.
I don't know. AZ Pie, if you're in the room, would you do the YMCA? I mean, you could even do like one that's a karaoke style, so we don't have to, blur it out. But no, that'd be cool. Random.
Well, I want to let people know if they want to join the October event and you do live near Miami, Arizona, YMCA has signed up their location. They will be part of the October's event, so we need to get a team in there. And 100%. AZ Pie went in there in October, and I will let people know they captured a lot of evidence. So if you're looking for a great place to investigate and hopefully capture a lot of evidence like AZ Pie did, you're going to want to go into that spot.
100%. And that was a beautiful location. They had some interesting, I won't say great, but they had some interesting history to it that just stirs up so much energy just even thinking about it. And
that pool area was the most active part of that location.
Yep.
And it's got a lot of sad history to that place, unfortunately. But I will say that if you go into that location, you're more than likely going to capture a lot of evidence if you go in with the right intentions.
Exactly.
Because I think this type of location, I think they're attracted to people that are compassionate, respectful.
Yep.
And really, really want to speak to you in a good way, not a bad way. So,
Yep. And I'm really excited.
That's what I said. That's what I said, Raymond. They signed up for October.
I'm really excited. And, we even spoke about this too. We had less teams. We had less teams in this event. But you know what? For what we had, great investigations, great locations, great teams, and even the numbers. I would just let everybody know the numbers that I'm seeing so far, they're good. They're not like outstanding, but they're good. They're good, solid numbers. And for this only being the second year, the first part of the second year, it's a win in my book. We're getting new teams, new locations. The word's getting out there. This is why it's so important, folks, to share. It's not for, Brian. It's not for the Global Ghost Hunt admin. It's for these teams and these locations. And it's getting these people like these newer teams, like the one we're going to be talking about here soon, getting them exposure. They're great teams, absolutely great teams. And the more exposure we give to these locations and these teams, the better our field is going to be. There's no personal gain on the admin side. None.
No.
None of us. And just a disclaimer, and I know we say this every event, none of us get paid for this. None of us do. I make nothing from the.
I'm not even getting the money. The money's going towards the website, most of it.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important. If we want to keep continuing doing the Global Ghost Hunt, I'm sure Brian and the rest of the admin staff will agree with me. We'll keep doing this until this isn't fun anymore. And I'm not just saying okay, come on, but I mean like actually lose the passion.
You know what I will say, and you mentioned about not as many teams, but I'll be honest, it didn't feel like we had less teams.
It really didn't. Like we had, well, I'll put it to you this way, folks. I wasn't going to go out. And I even told Brian this, even with my surgery, I wasn't feeling going out. Like, I didn't know if I could or what was going on. But after seeing the first half, I'm hooked. I want to go out and do it. You guys create that passion for me to go out and do it, the motivation. And I'm hoping that's what this continues. And it's not just for me to get exposure as a consultant. I want to be a part of this. I want to have fun. I want to be in part of and celebrate these locations and these teams. And plus, you guys make it so much fun. And I didn't want to follow Mister, so I didn't want to do that. So
yeah, I enjoyed my investigation. Now, if you haven't seen my investigation, go over and watch my investigation, because I captured him. And well, yeah, that annoying bird. I captured an amazing EVP near the end of the video that, I would consider Class A.
And you didn't get almost hit by a car like you did in the October event.
Yes, that's true. I didn't almost fall down either. Oh, I did almost fall. I almost fell down twice.
Yeah, but you didn't. I still remember the oh shit and seeing you shaking. That was great.
Yeah, that's not a good. It's not a good place to do by yourself.
No, it was a great location though. Yeah. So moving on to the next, and again, one last thing, Raymond. Thank you, brother, for filling in. Great job to you and your son, and hope to see more of you guys. Next, the Scare Enthusiast Club.
Yeah, people are confused about his name.
I'm still confused by his name.
Yes. Not the. It's the.
THA.
The scares. In actual fact, the Scare Enthusiast, there's supposed to be a hyphen between the scare and the enthusiast.
Oh, is there?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, lesson learned.
So yeah.
So I hope the guys come back. I really do. I hope they come back for the October event. Potter's Field.
No, they won't. I'll let you know they're not.
Oh, that's right.
They're doing another event, so hopefully maybe they'll come back for next May. They're already going to be doing another event. So
that's right. Yeah. That's right. I remember you telling me
they're doing Gettysburg.
Hey, well, you guys. No, they're in Colorado. Hey, if you guys are watching, I'm in Pennsylvania. Yeah. If you want to meet up,
there's an event going on in, I think, the end of September. I think.
Mm-hmm. I hear about things till the last minute.
Yeah, they're going to that event. I think it's Gettysburg. I'm not sure.
I don't know, but
yeah,
so we already spoke that they're okay, which is good. For those of you wondering, they had real bad service, even before the event started, even before their investigation started. It was really difficult. So they were in and out. But one thing I really took away from them is, again, the questions, the passion, and the debunking. They were good. They were really good. And from what I understand, they're somewhat of a newer team.
Yes. Yeah. And me and you talked about this. They're still a fairly new team, and they're still learning.
Mm-hmm.
And to be completely transparent, me and Matt did talk about this, that we were going to put something on the stream, but we decided not to. But we wanted them to figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
And this was important because they're still a fairly new team. They didn't realize that the K2 was being set off by the phone.
Yeah.
Because it was. Yeah. And they didn't know. And because obviously they've done investigations before where they haven't been live. This was their very first live ever, I think, for an investigation. Mm-hmm. So again, folks, people in the room, when you're on a live, if you're live streaming and you're using the K2, it's going to go off. No ifs or buts about it. Yep. It took them a while to figure it out, but they eventually figured it out, and that's good. It's good that they figured it out, and because we were tempted to put in the room a couple of times, it's being set off by your phone, but they need to learn.
Yep,
they need to learn. They need to figure out those things. And they did. It took them a while, but that's okay. And they eventually got it. But and I found with their service, when they went closer to the road, it was really, really good. When they went closer to, I guess, that hill that was there, it got bad. So, but again, sometimes when you're on a live, you don't see it. You don't see that.
I saw that. What was that, Max?
No, Max is in my bedroom.
Huh. Yeah, your shades just freaked out.
What the hell is that?
I don't know. Yes, even Rula said no. Max is in his bedroom.
Yeah, Max is in the bedroom.
Okay.
One of the shades came down.
Oh, it came down. We saw
it came out.
Oh, okay. Oh.
That was weird.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Paranormal podcast. What are you gonna do?
When the shade moved down, it moved the other shades, or when it fell off, it moved the other shades. So that's why you were seeing the shades move. Wow.
If speak it, they will come.
Apparently. Well, as you guys, I don't know if everybody knows in the room, but I have around 13 spirits in here. I used to have 20, but now I got rid of like 7 of them. But
say hello, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But speaking of Abyss, she made a good point. She made a really good point whenever, and I think Skip Through This even said it. The geographical, the stones, the limestone, everything like that. A lot of people forget to actually look into the geology of their location. Limestone, bedrock, stuff like that. That does affect paranormal activity. Now, I know,
but it doesn't affect the K2 though.
I was just going to say, that's, I want to get this clear for everybody. K2 is the electromagnetic field, EMF, right? Electronic, stuff like phones, computers, stuff like that. That's what that's going to pick up on, electricity. I think I even joked around saying, electrified rocks, question mark. I said to you. If you want to do something like that, you want to look at the magnetic field, get one that's actually a magnetic detector, not electromagnetic. There's the 2 different ones. And also do your research. There may be even a water table underneath. And if there is, no dowsing rod.
Well, limestone, limestone is a conduit for spirits, and same thing with water, and same thing with train tracks. And they had, because you heard a train, there must have been a train close.
It was close.
Yeah, and they had the limestone all over the place, I think. But again, it's one of those things. They're still fairly new team. They've never done a live. Didn't realize that the phone was going to be setting off the K2, because all they've done in the past is record. Yep. So if you're recording, you're not going to have that issue. But once you're live, completely changes the game. And I will say that if you're live and you got a K2 in your hand, going off, you know why. But you need at least 7 to 8 feet away from that phone or whatever live device you're using, so it won't go off. Not 3 feet, not 4 feet. You have to be at least 8 feet to be away from that K2 with your phone.
So, yeah, 100%. And you know what? To be honest, I know it was cut short, but the guys did great. Guys did great for being, first time live, being a newer team. They did great. And something that I know you and I both agree on is their location, both of them, the ruins and also the cemetery, stunning. Absolutely stunning.
The ruins. When I can't recall his buddy's name, but when he did that one shot of showing the distance of that when they were at the ruins, absolutely incredible place.
Well, I'll be honest, when they first pulled up to the ruins and they pointed to the hillside, I thought they were going all the way up the mountain, and I was like,
that's what I thought.
I was like, this might take a, why not just drive up? And then we saw the ruins. I was like, oh, okay. But no, and Scare Enthusiasts, if you guys are watching, absolutely great job. I'm glad you guys are okay. I know the rest of us are as well. And we hope to see you again. Really do. Which brings us to tonight. The very last, and what an ending.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I did that on purpose. I put them at the end on purpose, just like I did with Abyss in October.
Yep.
And because their whole investigation was just phenomenal. And what they were doing in their investigation was amazing. And not to take away from anybody else's investigations. That's not why. But because everybody did a great job. But I just felt that their investigation really, really stood out there, that this would be a great investigation to have for the last day. And the filming, the quality of the camera was amazing. It's a lot like mine. And everything was really good. And I've had a lot of communication with Rick and Joshua over the last several months. And I just felt that, that was a good way to end the event with their investigation. And it didn't, and honestly, it didn't disappoint. And again, like not a lot. They got some activity with the dowsing rods, which you seem to like.
And a little disclaimer, and folks, we will be transparent all the time. That is actually one of the first times I've seen those. The electronic dowsing rods. They look like little lightsabers.
Yeah.
I want them.
Yeah, and I told you I know somebody else that has the exact same ones.
Yeah, they're shiny. I like them.
I haven't seen her. She's an investigator here in Canada. She goes out with her sister, and they're a great team. But very, very interesting. It seemed like every question that was being asked, they got a response through the dowsing rods.
Yep.
And for me personally, I'm not really a fan of the dowsing rods. Maybe it's because I've never used them, but every time I see dowsing rods, all I think about is water. And I don't know why.
That's what they're for.
But, no, they're a great tool, and I know Abyss uses them, and they kind of made their own kind of dowsing rods as well. But no, great investigation. I thought it was a perfect ending for their investigation. Was perfect to end the event.
Absolutely, and happy belated birthday to Joshua. And
yes, definitely.
FYI, Phantom Detectives, if you guys, I know you're new to the Global Ghost Hunt, don't say anything about cupcakes around this guy. That is you're in Delaware. I'm not too far. I'll be waiting.
As far as I know, I believe they are coming back in October.
Awesome.
I think they are a permanent fixture. I think they are a permanent fixture for the Global Ghost Hunt. And I will say this about their investigation. That was one of the, again, I'm not taking away from anybody else's investigation. Vacation. I was going to say vacation. I need a vacation. But their investigation seemed to go by really, really quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. It really did.
They need 2 hours. And they're very, very precise on, not precise. They're very detailed on everything they do, which I thought was really, really interesting. And I'd never heard a team, and I mentioned this to you after their investigation, I never heard a team ever say start and end.
During
their sessions.
And that's actually kind of cool because, and that's something I personally am going to start doing now. Like whenever I ask a question, I'm going to say end or something. I make little notes, little vocal notes whenever something happens, burp, cough, shuffling, whatever. I just say note on recorder, blah, 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 blah. That I do. But never to say that I'm ending a question. And that's actually really good.
Yeah, I think the reason they were doing it, and I'm only assuming, and I'm hoping I'm right, because this is what I was thinking. I think the reason they do that is because they're ending their questions so they don't speak over each other.
Which makes sense. And it makes perfect sense. And also, as far as reviews concerned, if you hear something after the question's asked, you're ending the question, and they're giving that time for the spirits to respond. That's really good. That's something I haven't even thought of.
No.
So Phantom Detectives did an outstanding job, and they all did. And another great location, very detailed. And one thing I know you were talking about the tarot cards. This is the third event. We haven't seen it. The one thing I want to know more about is those dice. The dice to me was very interesting. That's something that I've never seen. I want to know more about that.
Yeah, I think she was the dice were what I guess she was picking up a name.
Betsy.
Yeah. I guess she was picking up that name and she put out the name. And then those tarot cards were all about her and what she was picking up from her. And it was great. And again, it's one of those things like we've talked about a number of times during the show, learning from other teams and trying new things. And I think going into an investigation, anything that you do is not wrong.
No.
When it comes to experiments. Some might work, some might not work. And but I find that really interesting, people coming up with these new ideas and new ways of speaking to the spirits. And that was interesting. It was cool. It was very, very, very cool.
No, absolutely. And I do want to give Phantom Detectives and Scare Enthusiast a shout out for something that I know you and I have noticed teams doing that they shouldn't, and that's with the SLS. Teams walk around with their SLS. They don't. I know we didn't get to see Phantom Detectives use it, but they were going to set it up, and even Scare Enthusiast, they had it stationary. That is the whole thing with the SLS. Make sure it's not at stuff like a lamppost or something that it can relate to as a human figure. But it's supposed to be used as a stationary piece of equipment. And I'm going to give them a shout out for that. They did it.
Yeah, because I think Rick was talking about this while Joshua was trying to set up his SLS, that they were actually going to be pointing it at a wall or a brick wall, which is what it needs to be stationary and it needs to be pointed at a blank wall.
No, 100%.
Yeah. So unfortunately, their SLS didn't work, and which is weird because he said he charged it the week before. So,
I mean, look at Penhurst. I had my GoPro charging days in advance, and it was even on the charger before we left, and it was a full battery.
Yeah.
And within a matter of a couple hours, dead.
Well, my SB7, I put in new batteries the week before, and when I went to turn it on, it was dead.
Yeah, and then the Wicked Queen having issues at the bridge with her flashlight. Those were new batteries, and that's a damn good flashlight. That it doesn't malfunction like that. So I mean, that's the fun thing about this field is expect the unexpected, not just paranormal, but even with equipment. Sometimes stuff happens, or Scare Enthusiasts, all their equipment died within minutes of each other. I've never heard of that happening.
No, it's weird.
But either way, Phantom Detectives, just, I mean, amazing.
They killed it. I hope they're, as far as I know, they are coming back in October.
Good.
But you never know. But what we need you guys to do, and really, really, really take some time over the next couple of weeks and really think if you want to be a part of this again. And I hope you do. And like I'd love to see Abyss back, and we know Rootless is going to be back, and all the other teams like AZ Pie and stuff like that. We really, really want to see you back because you guys put on great live events, whether they're recorded or live. They're great events, and people love watching you. And I hope you come back and for the October event, and I hopefully we'll have new teams coming back. I know I've already been reached out by several teams saying that they're going to be joining, and which is great. And continue doing it, and we will keep on supporting you and making sure that you get out there.
100%. And if you continuing with that, guys, please do not forget to go back, rewatch these videos, rewatch the investigation, support the teams by sharing, liking, doing all that stuff. But I want to take it a step further for everybody watching. And I'm even going to include myself in this. I know we as a paranormal community aren't just on one paranormal page. It's not just Parapost. We're on a bunch of different ones. Share the word of the Global Ghost Hunt out so we can get more teams and we can get more locations. Well, Ravens, you're not going anywhere. Yeah. But seriously, start spreading the word of the Global Ghost Hunt. I don't care how new the team is. I don't care how seasoned they are. And I know Brian feels the same way. And so does the admin staff. We want everybody to be a part of this, not for us, but for them. Showcase, spread the word, tell teams, sign up. If you are interested in signing up, guys, go to globalghosthunt.com and sign up. And if you can't make it to your location within that time frame of the event, again, record it. It is perfectly fine to record. And you don't have to go to these big flashy places, like Raymond and I went to a trail. Raymond went to a cemetery.
I went to
you went to an auto wrecker.
An auto wrecker's place.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. And you got great evidence. Yeah. Go to your local park, go somewhere and just have fun with it. You'll never know what you'll catch, but the Global Ghost Hunt is open for everybody and anybody. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter anything. And we will help you guys out every step of the way. And if you have a location, even a haunted house, I know some people who have a haunted house that have literally hauntings in it. Check it out, guys. Sign up. Sign your locations up. We will do our best, but try to find a team. If you can't find a team, do it yourself. We'd love to see the owners investigate. Henry did it. And I think he did a great job. He had fun with it.
Yeah.
Guys, it is again not for Brian. It's not for me. It's not for the admin. It's for you guys. This is literally a celebration, and we really want to make October's event bigger and better. And I'm not just talking about the viewers. I'm talking about everything. Let's make it 2 weeks. Let's give Brian and I a headache.
Yeah. I do want to mention something that's in the works. I haven't spoken to the person yet, but what I'm going to try to do over these last 3 events that we have, I am going to try to put a documentary together for all 3 events. I have not spoken to the person yet, and I know Aaron was going to set up this person to see if they were interested in putting the documentary together. So if that documentary is going to happen, we are going to be reaching out to some past teams and getting them to be a part of this, whether it's interviews or something along those lines. Most likely an interview with you, either the team or the team leader or whatever it may be. But we are going to put a documentary together for these last 3 events, hopefully, if not after the 4th event. But expect your video to be in this documentary. So obviously we can't use all your footage, but the documentary can't be 25 hours long, 26 hours long, but we are in the works of putting a documentary together. So
could you imagine putting a 26-hour video on Filmora?
So if that's the direction we're going to be doing, like interviewing teams, we will reach out to you and get you to put something together. Like we'll send you some questions or something like that. You just answer the questions on video and then send it to us, and we'll get you in this documentary. But that's what I'm working on once the event is over.
That's awesome. And Raymond, that's my line. Stop it. He said he has ideas.
I saw it.
Yeah, that's my line. But no, in all seriousness though, folks, spread the word. Spread the word. Encourage teams and groups to sign up, and let's have some fun, and let's make October so much bigger and better.
We also have. There's one more thing I want to talk about.
Oh, I got some more. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. So there's one other thing that we're going to be working on as well. Me and Raymond spoke about it the other day. Yeah, it's an idea I had. I had an idea.
Hey, you know what? I'm copywriting that.
What we're thinking about doing is we're thinking about doing a world live stream. And what that's going to be, what that's going to entail. If you want to be a part of it, let us know. Now, we can't have everyone being a part of it. So what we're going to do, and this is going to be something really, I think is going to be something really, really cool. It's going to be called the World Live Event, something along that lines. Global Ghost Hunt Live. I don't know. It's going to be called something. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a team from Canada, a team from the States, a team from the UK, and hopefully a team from Australia. What we're going to do is it might be one night, it might be the 2 hours, we don't know yet. So what we're planning on doing, if it happens, you are going to see 4 lives happen at the same time from across the world.
You're a glutton for punishment, aren't you? No, that's actually, in all seriousness, that's a great idea.
So again, it will be a team from Canada, it'll be a team from the States, maybe a couple of teams from the States, a team from the UK, and a team from Australia, all going on at the same time.
That sounds like fun. That sounds like an absolute blast. See, and this is why it's important, folks, to share.
So we think it's going to be like me and Raymond were talking about it. He thinks it's an amazing idea. I think it's going to be an amazing idea. It can be done. It can be done. And the only thing, though, is with Australia, they're going to have to investigate in the morning. So that's, but if we don't have Australia, we can have 2 teams from Europe. We can have 2 teams from North America or 3 teams from North America, all going on at the same time. So what the one investigation for, let's say Canada, we'll have 4 at the side, and then Canada will be shown for a little while. Then it'll be the States. So it's going to be called the World Event or something along that lines. And it will happen during the Global Ghost Hunt during the 10 days. So that is in the works. If you are interested, let us know, and we'll get you up. But it'll have to be live. Just keeping in mind, it will have to be live. So you'll have to be at a place where it's live, where you can go live. So
I like it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be one of a kind. Wow. I don't think it's ever happened.
I've never heard of
anything. From all the way across the world. Now, I do know some teams in Australia. If they want to be involved, I'm going to speak to a team and see if they want to be involved, because I'd like to have it right across the world.
Yeah, and you know what? Sorry, I'm sending a message real quick. Sorry. I know, so professional, aren't I? No, I've never heard of anything like that before. And you know what? I think that'd be great. I mean,
it's gonna be awesome.
Maybe, and again, just spitballing your ideas, because this is what I do. Maybe we can even be really ambitious and do a 24-hour.
No, thank you. No, thank you. I knew that was coming. No, thank you. Are you going to be sitting in front of that stream for 24 hours? I'm not.
Sometimes I feel like I am, but
so if you guys think that, if you guys think that's a good idea, let us know. If you want to be a part of it, then let us know. And hey, listen, I understand the States is really big, and we will probably have more than just one team. We'll probably have 2 or 3 teams, 1 from Canada, 2 from Europe. We can have it. I think at the most we'll have 6, because it will be a little overwhelming to have any more than that.
Agreed.
So, so that is the plan.
I really like that. I really like that idea. And I kind of want to touch on something, because I know you and I were speaking about it last night with Scare Enthusiast. Raymond just reminded me, if you were watching on Facebook or Twitter or Twitch, whatever, and you saw Brian's comment, I have a nickel, and you were confused, that was me. I was commenting on, or really any of them, because I don't, Brian was messaging and commenting from StreamYard, so it was going to every platform. So if you were seeing random stuff, that's what it was. I said something about putting a quarter in my router, and I said I need change for $1, and he said he had a nickel. I just want to touch on that.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think what was it? I think it was Friday night's investigation. I was just putting the comments in there so everybody can see them. But Paula Rodriguez, who was in the room earlier, I don't know if she's still here, but I was putting in comments and it was kind of relating to what she was saying. So she was answering me back, not realizing that it was for somebody else. And I told her that these comments are going to all the pages. So, yeah, it's kind of funny.
And it's funny, guys.
Hey, listen, the reason I was doing that, and there is a reason why I was doing that, is because I wanted people to understand that there were viewers from all the pages.
Yes.
Like we had people in all the pages. Like for Rootless Destination, at one point, there were 60 people watching. And that was with all the pages. Like Abyss, there at one point, there was 45 watching. So you guys got to remember, just because you see only 10 on YouTube, there's 7 other pages that was being shared to. And then on top of that, like I think Arizona Pie had 74 shares on their video.
Yeah.
There's comments coming in from there as well. So you guys might not think you had a lot of watching. You did. And I think it was during the Rootless Investigations video, I said there's a lot of people watching, continue sharing, because there was tons of people in the room watching you guys. And I think it was last night's video. I think there was 17 on Twitter watching.
Yeah.
And, and that's why it's so important to share. Like there was a comment that was in the room. I think it was Abyss, Ruben, who was in the room. And he said, well, I don't see anybody in the room. Well, there was, because he didn't refresh his page. But you guys had, what was the number I said? 60, 65, I think I said?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, there was 65 people watching you. But people were going to all these different rooms trying to see the numbers. But there were some pages that you guys weren't going to that there was huge numbers in. Like LinkedIn had huge numbers. And believe it or not, Twitch had good numbers. Twitter had good numbers. Like you guys were being seen everywhere. And that's the great thing. So just because you only see 10 in a room doesn't mean that there's not 60 in another room or several rooms. So, but yeah, Rootless was doing really well on the watching with the amount of people, and it was great. Like Twitter, believe it or not, Twitter was really good. It was really good. And keeping in mind, folks, yes, Twitter Global Ghost Hunt, but you got to remember, I was sharing it to 5 other pages on Twitter. So 5 other pages or 6 pages? 5 other pages I was sharing. So it was being shared to 6 pages, 6 different groups on Twitter. So you guys were shared out everywhere. And I'm really hoping TikTok eventually gets an open API, because once they get an open API, you guys will be on TikTok. TikTok, the TikTok API. If they open that, then
floodgates.
But the problem with TikTok, as most people know, there's a lot of trolls. So that's why I'm really iffy about going to TikTok, because the last thing we need is people coming in the room and being, I'm going to say it, dickheads. I'm just going to say it, because a lot of them are. I've been on a live where I've had 8,000 people in the room and on a TikTok live. And and you have to have mods in the room because they got to get rid of those trolls. So that's why I'm a little iffy on TikTok, but it doesn't really matter anyways because States is probably going to lose TikTok anyway. So,
well, that's neither here nor there. But no, and I'm glad you said that because it's been said to me even about my own show. We don't see all the numbers. We only see a couple, and even like my live at the Hessfield, we had, I think right after I had like 58 views, and that's still pretty good
for one page.
For just one page.
One page.
Yeah.
So you got to keep that in mind. Like, I know some people are going, well, there's hardly anybody in this room. Okay, that's true. But the other rooms have got so many people in it. So,
and
and I try to do my best.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing, folks. That's one reason why we love doing this is because, like, I think I even said it with the first event. Teams like Abyss did an absolutely amazing job, and they got the exposure they deserved. And a lot of these teams are the same way. They come in fresh teams and they're getting the numbers, they're getting the views, and it's drawing more people in. What we are doing isn't just for just one team or one location. This is for everybody. This is going to hook a lot of people to come in and celebrate with us and have some fun and really bring knowledge and experience and fun to the paranormal, which is what we need. And I said it before and I'll say it again. And it's real paranormal. It's not Hollywood BS. This is legit paranormal stuff. And the more fun we have, the more shares we have, the more success we will all have. And I mean success as growing.
And keeping in mind too, over the next couple of weeks, you're going to find that you're going to have a lot more views on a lot of the different pages.
Yep.
Because people are going to be catching up. Like the October's event, great numbers, but there were even bigger numbers when a couple of weeks passed because people are catching up and watching your videos. So just because you had 300 views, I guarantee in 2 weeks it'll be up to 600.
Oh, absolutely.
So this is it's. And I was pleasantly surprised. I have to be honest. I was pleasantly surprised with Twitter X.
Yes.
And because in the last two events, the numbers haven't been great with Twitter. They've been good, but not great. But they were really good during this event. So, I was really happy with that. Twitch is something we really need to start working on a little bit more. We had numbers on Twitch, some good numbers, but I want them to be better. And this is a new event for Twitch, and hopefully October's event, the numbers will be really good. So
absolutely.
The numbers are only growing. They're growing. And with the amount of teams that we had for this event, I'm pleasantly surprised with the numbers so far. So
no, 100%. Well, before we start closing up, I do want to say something, and you mentioned this individual earlier. I want to give a huge shout out to, and it's not just him, but I want to give him a special shout out, and that's our brother Aaron Hoffman. I want to give him a shout out, even though, just so everybody knows, Aaron is taking a step back from paranormal and stuff like that, but he's still helped out, and he's been a big part of a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. And I personally appreciate everything he's done. And I mean, if I needed something, he's on it, just like, Raymond. But Aaron, if you're watching, I want to say thank you in all seriousness for everything you've done. And, I hope to see you come back and help out, but if not, I wish you the best, brother. I really do. But seriously, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And,
not enough. Not enough thank yous.
No, absolutely not, for everything he's done. And to the admin staff, you guys are awesome. You guys have really made this event something special. And I've even told Brian backstage, when I took my sabbatical, I was nervous. I felt like I wasn't helping out. I wasn't doing enough, but you guys really stepped up. You guys have done a great job setting up this event, and I feel like I'm back with my family, and I personally appreciate it. And Brian, I like to single you out.
Yeah, I just want to say that Abyss, Aaron did help them out on their logo as well, and did a great job with that. Their the logo, I don't know if they're going to continue using it or not, but it was a really, really great job by Aaron. Aaron is very talented at what he does, and I know he's stepping away, but I know he's in the background helping if we need it. So
yeah, absolutely. But Brian, I know you give a lot of credit to everybody else, but I think everybody in the room will agree with me. Without you, this wouldn't be here. This was your baby, your brainchild. And again, I know I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it. You help out the field more than you know. I know you say the same thing about our numbers. Well, I want to say the same thing to you about what you've been doing and what you do. You help out more people. You are one of the reasons why I came back.
Yeah.
Your support, your passion, and just you brought me back. And I know you and I have had we have a little differences, but you know what's funny is it lasts for like a couple minutes, and that's like, okay, whatever. Yeah. But I want to say thank you to you for putting on this great event, for supporting everybody, supporting our field and our communities. And it's people like you that make the paranormal field what it is. And that's something to be proud of.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And honestly, folks, the last people I want to thank is our audience and our communities, who have been better than I could have ever expected, better than I think even Brian can expect. You guys have been there through all of this. I mean, every single event we put on, you have not let down. People like Rootless, Abyss, Raymond, all you guys, Liz, and so many others. You guys have always been there to support these teams in these locations. You share out, you interact. That is why this is so, I don't want to say profitable, but it's so meaningful. This is what the paranormal is supposed to be. We are supposed to be a community supporting each other, and you guys kill it. No pun intended. Every time. Positivity will drive this field to be something to be very proud of, and you guys are the backbone of this. Global Ghost Hunt, us here at the Admin, and even Brian, we can do so much, but without the support that you guys give, with the sharing, the likes, the interactions, it would mean nothing. It would be nothing without you guys. You guys continuously are there for us, and I feel like I could speak for the whole admin staff when I say thank you, and continue to say thank you.
Thank you. And you have a video that you want to share?
Yes, those are closing. So
yes,
I figured it'd be the last thing.
Hey, Dom.
What's up, Dom? But if you guys also want to get your own, be a part of what we're doing, even with the event before October, I do want to remind everybody to go to merch or globalghosthuntmerch.com. Link is in the description, and get your own piece of merchandise. You can be as snazzy as Rootless. Well, maybe not as snazzy as Rootless, but you can get hoodies, shirts. We are always going to be updating. I am going to continue to update a bunch of different things. I'll probably have some kind of designs. I'm sure Brian and I will collaborate with some stuff. I don't know. But what's up, Dom? How you doing, brother? Miss you.
Hey, buddy.
But definitely go check out the merch. And again, proceeds do go right back into the Global Ghost Hunt event. Share it out. That's another good way to share out and to promote what we're doing, is get your merch. And it's comfortable too. I got this from the same store and I love it. But definitely go check that out, guys. Again, link is in the description. Anything else you want to say, brother, before we bounce out of here?
I just want to say thank you to everyone that joined. I want to thank all the admin team. I want to thank all the supporters. I want to thank Rootless for giving or doing those promos for us the last several months, and all the people that watched. I want to thank you all, and I hope you continue to support what we're doing and what we're trying to achieve. and hopefully we'll see you in October.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, folks, if you do want to sign up for the Global Ghost Hunt, or even find out more information, go to globalghosthunt.com and just check it out. You don't have to sign up right away. Just check it out. But I will let you guys know, and I think Brian will attest to this, spaces are limited. So if you don't even have a location yet, but you still want to be a part of it, sign up. We can deal with that later, but sign up. Sign up.
Thank you, Bill. Oh, I do want to mention something. Bill, I want to thank you as well, because I saw that you gave stars the other day to an investigation. So thank you for that.
That's awesome.
Really, really appreciate that.
That is awesome, Bill. And you know, Bill, you're another one. I see Bill in the room all the time. So, but again, folks, if you want to sign up or find out more information, just go to globalghosthunt.com. Stop it, Raymond. I see that.
But there is a video.
There is a video, guys, so don't go anywhere. I do have one last thing. So I guess that's it. There's only one more thing left for me to say. Y'all have yourselves a great rest of your night. Have fun. Stay safe. And as always, guys, happy hauntings.